Celebrating Cultures, Mexico by Leo Rybat. Being the home of more Spanish speakers than any other nation in the world, Mexico is the third largest country in Latin America. Mexico was first settled by the Olmecs in 1200 BC, while the Mayans thrived during 250 to 900 AD. The Aztec Empire spanned the country from the Pacific Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico in the mid-1400s. The Spanish conquistador Cortes conquered the Aztecs in the early 1500s and enslaved most of the indigenous population. Missionaries began to arrive in 1503 and converted many to Catholicism. In 1810, a rebellion arose which resulted in Mexico's independence from Spain in 1821. A year later, an upstart, Santa Anna, rose to power and squashed the stand that Texas took to gain its independence from Mexico in the infamous Battle of the Alamo. Later, he was defeated in the Mexican-American War, and by 1855, Santa Anna had disappeared. In 1910, the Mexican people revolted against the dictatorship of Diaz and the imbalance of wealth and power that resulted in a 10-year civil war. In 1934, Cardenas became president and reestablished the ancient system of shared tracts of land called the Ejido system, which benefited citizens and the economy. World War II further helped the nation through the development of roads, factories, and irrigation systems. Problems still persist with an imbalance of power, but despite these issues, Mexico retains its important position in life. The capital of Mexico is Mexico City. The country of Mexico is located at the northern tip of Central America. The United States of America is to the north, while the countries of Belize and Guatemala are to the southeast. The Pacific Ocean is to the west, and the east coast of the country is flanked by the Gulf of Mexico. The Mexican flag is very symbolic of the nation's history. The independence movement is represented by the green stripe. The white stripe is representative of the Catholic faith, and the red stripe is in remembrance of those heroes who shed their blood for the independence of the nation. The emblem shield in the middle is a nod to their Aztec heritage. The flag was created in 1821 with the victory of the independence movement. Here are three of the many flavorful types of food in Mexico. Chilaquiles is a popular breakfast food made with fried corn tortillas, topped with green salsa or red salsa if you want it more spicy. Then scrambled eggs with cheese and cream are added on top. Don't forget a side order of refried beans. On nearly every street in Mexico, you will find a vendor selling elote, or corn on the cob. The corn is boiled and then served on a stick, or the cut kernels in a cup. Then it is topped with salt, chili powder, lime, butter, cheese, mayonnaise, and sour cream to your heart's content. Chiles en nogada is the most patriotic of the Mexican dishes. Poblano chilies are filled with a mixture of meats, fruit, and spices called picadillo. The chilies represent the green of the Mexican flag, while the walnut-based sauce, the white, and the pomegranate seeds, the red. According to history, this dish was first served to Don Iturbide, the liberator and emperor of Mexico. Types of dress. The poncho dates back as early as 500 BC and were meant to keep you warm and dry. You may even own a cheap plastic version purchased at the last minute during a sudden downpour. The sarape is a cross between a shawl, a blanket, and a poncho. The early version, worn by farmers and shepherds, were a dreary brown or gray made from wool or fleece. With a growing tourist market, sarapes now come in brightly colored varieties of diverse fabrics. The sombrero may be the most well-known of Mexican attire. Traditionally worn by cowboys and mariachis or musicians, sombreros are worn by many and are even the ancestor of sorts to more modern-day hats, like baseball caps and beanies. Mexican music has its roots from three distinct places: the pre-Columbian era, the Spanish, and African slaves. Mexican song is influenced by all three and first appeared in the 17th century. Cielito Lindo is a very popular version of this type of music, which you've been listening to. Ranchera music was literally sung on a Mexican ranch and was directly influenced by the Mexican song music just before the Mexican Revolution. The rhythm is similar to a waltz or polka. Although mariachi is thought of as a type of music, it is actually a group of musicians. The term is derived from a Coca Indian term meaning platform. The mariachi orchestra is made up of 2 violins, 2 trumpets, a Spanish guitar, a vihuela, and a guitarrón, 2 other types of Spanish guitars. The suits worn by the musicians can be traced back to General Diaz on 1907, when the musicians were ordered to wear them for a visit from the Secretary of State of the U.S. In the beginning, mariachi bands played mostly ranchera music, but as the economy changed and worsened, the wars came and went, the mariachis playing songs about revolutionary heroes and other current events. By the early 20th century, mariachi became one recognizable musical genre. In the 1950s, trumpets and harps were introduced as well.